Greetings, fellow humans. Welcome to Sam and Max Hit the Books. I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
And we've got a full load of average comics to review for you today. I'm super excited about a couple of things, but let's start with Transformers issue 5 by Brian Ruckley, with art by Anna Malkova, Angel Hernandez, and Sarah Petra DeRoche. It was fine. The first page was excellent.
The first page was excellent. I really enjoyed that and was a little bit swayed myself to the Decepticons angle.
Right, because I was reading this and I'm like, oh, hang on a second, this is like very like classic comics, like political subversion type stuff that you hardly ever see nowadays. But it's really very much like I'm looking for the angles, kind of like don't let the government control you. Because, like if they tell you that they need to take away rights for security, don't believe that kind of thing. It was very refreshing.
Yeah, the hoarding of the resources, the stopping of creation of robots. Yeah, that's a good point.
So do you think Bumblebee is actually trying to join the Decepticons, or do you 100% definitely think that he's on a mission?
100% definitely think that he's on a mission, but depending on how, this one ends and the next issues, he's a mentor now. Right.
That would be an actually pretty interesting twist on Transformers fiction, to have Bumblebee start out on the other side. Maybe he stays with them until they become Decepticons, and like once they're actually the Decepticons, he changes his mind. But
yeah, agreed.
So I thought this was like I found entertainment in it in a way that I hadn't found in any of the previous issues. Really, like I like the things that it's bringing up, but it's bringing them up so casually and very quickly in like blink if you'll miss it moments. Both of the last two issues have started with very cool things with Megatron and then stopped featuring him whatsoever for the rest of the issue.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's fine. It's fine. The art looks good.
It does have a ramping up feeling to it, though, that the previous issues didn't have.
Right, but this should have been issue 3.
Right, it's true.
Right, we're 5 issues in. We've read like a whole trade paperbacks and it feels like nothing has happened.
Well, it's all been fluff. Slice of life.
Right. It's a weird slow burn they're doing. It looks fine. I'm giving it a 5. Exactly average.
I'm giving it a 6. I like this one better than the other ones.
Cool. All right.
Next up, we got the newest issue 17 of the Immortal Hulk. Al Ewing, Joe Bennett.
Oh, Joe Bennett. He did it again.
Boy, oh boy, was this one great. We get a little bit more of good old Agent Burbank.
So I have found out that Agent Burbank is not created for this. He's a classic Marvel Comics villain.
Nice.
I think his name is Bushwhacker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bushwhacker. I think they mentioned that in this.
Yeah, I think they
say
do.
that name.
But yeah, the plastic skin, like his hand turning into various guns.
Did you notice the Evil Dead reference?
Did I notice the Evil Dead reference?
Did you notice when he's got Joe down and they're like, all right, take him out, and he turns his arm into a chainsaw and he says groovy at the exact same time.
I was so distracted by the wow, yeah, you're so right, that's hilarious. I was so distracted by the alien reference on the previous page with the Geiger HR username, password Nostromo, which is the name of the ship.
Yes, it is.
Which I thought was very interesting because while the interior art doesn't really look that way, the cover by Alex Ross looks very much like an HR Geiger thing.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't noticed that.
So, I don't know what's going on there, but lots of good references in this issue. Joe Bennett killing it.
Yeah, really, him running around and then, when he transforms into...
Gamma overload.
Yeah, and you're getting all the different Hulk heads. You get, like, great short cropped hair... Big forehead Hulk.
Savage Hulk.
Hulk. Beast Hulk. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's this crazy monster. It's happening and you're like, oh my god, he's turned it into gamma radiation. And he did something I love. Al Ewing remembered in this issue, this is the first time in any fiction that I've ever seen somebody remember that scientists in general aren't geniuses at everything science related because he has Bruce go up to the computer he needs to hack And the narration box says, like, Bruce isn't that kind of genius.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to hack somebody's passwords.
Such a basic thing. I love it so much when anybody remembers in any show, movie, comic, anything. Because everyone's always just like, this is the scientist of our party. The chemical engineering, hacking, like,
right,
what do you need to do?
It all. That's true. I give it a 9.
Yeah, this is close to a perfect issue. And when they say they're turning up that gamma, and they're like, Hulk's going to get a gamma overload, and, you're thinking through the history of comics, and you're like, all right, so Hulk's going to be huge.
Right, huge.
But, man, you're not expecting many arms, many heads. It's just another one of those classic 2-page spreads that Bennett has just been murdering on this title. Absolutely wonderful.
Agreed.
All right, moving on to another good one, Little Bird. Chapter 3 by Darcy Van Polgeest and Ian Bertram. Colors by Matt Hollingsworth. Always good.
Yeah.
Man, another good issue. A lot of the good old hyperviolence.
Well, yeah.
Axe, man. The axe gets chopped to pieces and burnt to a crisp, and he's still talking.
Yeah. Like he's burnt to a crisp to the point where he's glowing and melting.
The real overkill. Just real good stuff. The story is cruising along at an extremely high pace.
That's true.
The bad guys are evil and gross, except for the soldiers, which we're getting very interesting views on. Like we have our female soldier that was captured in the previous issue, who Little Bird releases, but then betrays her at the end. We've got the soldier who uses this weird, like, disc energy weapon thing they have.
He vaporizes everybody from the midriff up.
Right. It's
along with all the trees.
It reminded me of Iron Man 2 when Tony's got that laser that charges up, and then as soon as it's ready, it just zaps everything around them in a radius.
Oh, yeah. That one's good.
But then it takes a minute to show that soldier is absolutely fucking horrified by what just happened. So that's a very interesting angle to be doing. Like, the villains, like, at the top are real evil, but everyone underneath is just people.
Yeah, that's true.
The art by Ian Bertram, as usual, I would describe it as noodly.
There's definitely a tentacle thing going on, a theme.
Everything's got, like, a soft roundness to it. You probably couldn't find a single actually straight line in this book anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
If you looked for it. Just real good stuff. Absolutely wonderful. I think that this is an 8.
I'd give it a 7. All right. So now we got the new issue of Superman, number 11, Death to the House of L.
Ivan Reis. Killing it.
Brian Michael Bendis.
BMB. He came.
Yeah. And, this issue has some great splash pages.
Man.
It really has some great splash pages. You got space battles when Superman and his son show up to help Granddad. You got big splash of Superman with all the panels on the side.
Man,
it just looks so great.
Looking like Superman. Like you couldn't draw a more perfect representation of it. It's like the ideal platonic Superman.
Oh yeah, just man of strength. The faces that he's given aliens to get them to cease fire is hilarious. Just that
stern.
Yeah, you come here and you talk to me.
He's not mad. He's just disappointed.
Yeah. And even Rogol-Zar is looking pretty intimidating in this one, especially when he's fighting Superman and it's like big head next to Superman's little head.
Yeah, I do like the size differential between them. It does help make Rogol threatening.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no complaints on the art. The book looks wonderful. The art is doing all of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, because the plot is Rogol-Zar, he got Zod on his side.
Damn it.
Zod helped him get out of the Phantom Zone.
Damn it, Zod!
Then they immediately went for Granddad of the L family.
Zod was almost having a cool arc there for a second.
Right? Felt the exact same way. This one really knocked Zod back down to his usual place.
Gotta put the kibosh on that interesting plot line, as usual. Brian.
Yeah.
I didn't find the plot as reprehensible as some of the issues, just because it was all a domino effect of this, then this, then this, and it's all action, and I can't complain about that.
Yeah, lots of action.
I do appreciate that Superman makes an effort to teach his son how to stop an interstellar battle without causing a single casualty.
Yeah.
That's a Superman thing to do. I like it.
Made the effort.
But it's just not... It's nothing. Like, it's nothing. Like, Supergirl shows up and she's got this stick. Like a big wooden or rock staff. And I feel like I'm definitely supposed to know what that is. It's emphasized in the art. But, we haven't been reading Supergirl.
It's true. It's probably not important.
We shall see.
Yeah. Dragon Ball Z, it ain't.
Except for the extended pullouts of time.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z, it's a lot more interesting when it pulls out like that.
What do you give it?
Give it a 4.
I think it's a 4. It's a 1, but the art brings it to almost average.
Yeah, because that really is some of the best Superman art.
If you took all of the text out of this issue and had just the art, I think you could 100% still understand everything happening in the story.
Yeah, that's true.
Fully 100%. The visual storytelling is so clear. And yeah, it's muddied. It's muddied up. All right. Moving on to issue 71 of Batman by Tom King, Mikel Janin, and Jorge Fornes. And we're in full Batman is going crazy mode, I guess.
Yeah, King is really trying to convince us that this is just Batman has just snapped, and that's all we're reading.
Well, we know he hasn't snapped because Bane and Thomas Wayne Batman are in his house, and they're actually there.
But he's also not there. He's here as well. Like, there's 2 different timelines going on in this issue, because it does not make that clear to me. It feels like this issue has 2 minds about what's going on.
I had to go back because it does say earlier at the beginning of the Janin.
Okay.
So we know that happened first. And so Bruce, sitting dejected and annoyed in his Batcave, seems to have taken place after he punched out Tim.
Okay, yeah.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
Because Batman's in... I realized in this issue that Tom King's Batman is like a real asshole. Like, he's such a bad trash talker. He's showing him, I'm going to crush you. I'm going to break you. We're going to destroy you and you're helpless. Like, Bane, you cannot hide. We see you. We have seen your rise. And now, you fragile, feeble-minded fool, we will watch you fall. That's how villains talk.
Yeah, that is how villains talk. But it is kind of putting Batman in a villain kind of position. With all the other characters being all like, hey, you're crazy.
Like, I could almost see it as like if Alfred didn't say yes, Master Bane, then you could almost make the argument that Bane and Thomas Wayne aren't actually there, and Alfred's just talking to Batman, and he's doing all these things, and they're really annoying. But
no, and yeah, Alfred gives them that whole talk, and
I mean, he could still have not broken out of the mind thing from the whole Nightmare arc. Like, this could all still be a controlled reality for all we know.
Yeah. For all we know. Yeah, but what's going on?
3.
2. And now we've got Justice League issue 24 by not Zach. It's Scott Snyder, and George Jimenez.
Yes. And here's the good Superman and his son action happening.
Yeah, they have a little bit of fun in this issue, which is good, and it takes a turn pretty quickly with the whole lantern thing and Superman and going through this dark depression moment.
It is a little depressing Superman, which I don't love, but yeah, he's in a rough position right now, floating in a black void.
Yeah, that is a rough position.
What do you think of all the villain stuff in this? With the villains just straight being like good guys, and the Justice League calling them the greatest heroes of all time?
I liked it.
I mean, they saved him once, and the greatest heroes of all time.
Greatest of all time might be pushing it.
Like, what's this dark side?
These guys have been imprisoned for a long time. We assume it's a long time. And yeah, so now they're just freedom fighters, and it's completely changed them.
And right, because they do hint that they're living in some reality that's post whatever Luthor does.
That's true.
And because they're all anti-Luthor's plans in this timeline.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because you'd think that the timeline they would be in wouldn't be the same timeline, since we're currently existing in the World Forger created timeline. The whole way that all this is working is very unclear. I don't know if it's possible to make it clear, the way that, like, the fifth dimension, what are we even doing here? Like, it just seems like another dimension.
Right, that's true.
They're not doing anything with the fifth dimensional aspect of this.
That's true, because, yeah, it does just seem like another dimension. But I guess it's kind of like maybe...
Oh, the sixth dimension, I'm sorry.
Right, that's true. The fifth dimension is that chaotic place in between.
Right.
Which would be more interesting, but this is just like a dimension that I guess the World Forger and Batman created together.
Right, and with the final bat suit.
Right, and that therein lies our problem. Because what the hell is Batman doing?
I still think he's 100% doing the I'm playing it until like the exact moment when...
Right, yeah, but it already happened. He already sided with them, unless both Batmans. Because there's this Batman who already did the thing.
Right, that Batman who's dead. Because Dick Grayson is the red Batman.
Oh, right, that Batman is dead. I forgot about that.
Right.
Yeah.
The one thing I didn't like is the way that Batman from regular reality is, like, knowledgeable enough to recreate the final Batsuit. Very quickly.
Very quickly, yeah. And it's like he already knew. He already had the idea of how to make it in his head.
But, like, I think that there's almost no chance that at the beginning of the next issue, Batman immediately turns in that suit and is like, hoo-hoo, now I'm strong enough to fight you, World Forger.
Well, I mean...
Now those suns are rushing back to Superman, y'all didn't even notice.
Well, I mean, yeah. That better be what happens. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, because the only other option here is that this Batman's a little more like Tom King's Batman than we'd like to admit, and so far he really hasn't seemed that way.
Yeah, that is the other option. Let's hope it's not that.
Anything's better, though, than Diarrhea Batman.
Well, yeah.
Tremendous.
Vomiting over the toilet Batman. Anyway, I give it a 6.
Yeah, I think 6 is right. There's fun moments, and the art is... Like, we say it every time, but Jimenez is like one of the top guys doing superhero comics right now. Like, you cannot ask for it to look any better than that. It's still stylized. It's got like a vague cartooniness to it compared to a guy like Reese.
Yeah.
But it really, really works. It's very suited to the story that's happening. It feels like the art is epic enough.
Yeah, and it changes the tone of what's going on, which is... Yeah, it makes all the difference in the world. That's like that first Superman page is so old style color palette, and then we get to the villains, and you get that whole red thing going on.
Yeah, I guess we got to mention the colorist Alejandro Sanchez is probably the one who's mostly responsible for things like that.
Well, yeah, he's doing a good job too.
Okay, so last for the week, we're gonna do issue 4 of War of the Realms by Jason Aaron and Russell Todderman. I just want to get this out of the way right up top. We figured out the Venom thing.
Yeah.
If you've been listening to our reviews, you know that our number one problem with the series so far is that the Venom continuity is very unclear. But it turns out that the Venom that has appeared in this main title, the one that, as I said before, was regular-ass Venom, is just the symbiote.
Yeah.
We did see in the Venom solo recently that the symbiote is able to walk around and talk to people and just by himself and look like regular-ass Venom, so...
Or just a regular-ass human.
Right. So, that's out of the way. Just to mention that. Other than that, man, this is a real scattered storyline.
Yeah, but I mean, I never had any trouble following it.
You know what's happening. It didn't feel like it was losing quite as much to the tie-ins, except for, like, the real blatant pages of, like, one panel of what these guys are doing and one panel of what these guys are doing. But... Yeah. What did you think of the Iron Allfather?
The Iron Allfather. Well, I love that name. And he's got a pretty cool suit.
I thought it was interesting. The horns motif, the giant-ass horns motif.
Right, and the covered face. I wasn't so with the covered face. Wasn't so pleased with that.
I did notice in the little like sketch notes in the back about it that it's the braided metal bottom of the helmet is supposed to represent Odin's beard.
Well, that's pretty cool. They could have made it a little bigger, a little longer then.
I agree, actually.
But yeah, I figure they probably just created the most powerful weapon ever. Well, obviously not the most powerful weapon ever, but Odin himself with his strength plus the strength of vibranium iron suit.
Right. I think we have to assume that it's probably at least as powerful as Odin's destroyer armor, if not more so.
Probably more so.
Spider-Man, as usual, is in this book only to be the lame-ass comic relief.
Right.
His jokes aren't good.
Good.
And they're not even bad in like a Spider-Man-y way. They're jokes that it feels like Jason Aaron thinks they're funny.
Right, or you think Spider-Man is a doofus. Because they're kind of doofus jokes.
They are doofus jokes. Punisher might be the highlight of the issue. The way he talks to everybody is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, and the way he looks. Huge-ass doughy Punisher is one of my favorites.
Right, guns. We want all these. All we can carry. The bigger the better. Like, he looks like he can carry all those guns himself.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, Thor. Thor's fixed up. He's got a new armor that looks like the Destroyer arm.
Yeah.
Sorry, new arm, not new armor.
Yeah, new arm entirely. Which, good for him.
Yeah, well, he's been rocking the one metal arm for a while. That arm wasn't ripped off in the battle.
Oh, okay.
That has been his status quo for quite some time.
I haven't been reading Thor, so.
But he also has got rocking Yarnborn.
Yeah.
Which I'm not surprised to make an appearance now that Thor's using an axe in the movies again.
True.
So,
not as good as the hammer, but almost.
Yeah. Well, the hammer he's got looks kind of like Mjolnir along with it. It's just like Mjolnir, but with spikes.
Yeah, that's true.
But man, then you switch like to the back page and you look at like, here's all the tie-ins, and it's straight up like 24 books just coming out in May.
Yeah, forget all that.
Don't miss a single piece of this universe-encompassing event. Like, Jesus, how much money? Like, right here, this is like $100. Just May. Like, what are they thinking with this market saturation? Is anybody really buying all these tie-ins?
They think Thor is good shit. He's hot.
I mean, Aaron, he's doing the main Avengers book right now. He's definitely, like, carrying the torch of Marvel at the moment. So, I guess they're putting everything into it. But, man, it's a lot. And Malekith is not super compelling as a villain.
Well, that's true. But we barely spend any time with him. We mostly just jump between heroes.
Yeah, he's just torturing the symbiote mostly. And it's very unclear whether he's successfully able to make the symbiote into some sort of blade or not. Like, sometimes it seems like he's doing it. Other times he's just, like, sicking the symbiote as, like, a ball of spiky mass at people. It's very unclear everything that's happening.
Yeah, I figure we'll find out one way or the other.
I did like seeing though the elves of the Light Realm. They're so lame. They're like gumdrop houses and all that like super whimsical elf shit.
Oh yeah, but at least this guy's rocking the dual pistols.
Sir Ivory, right? Yeah, he was in the previous Thor run, and it's hilarious. Yeah, that he's basically Legolas but pistols.
Yeah,
he's cool. I do like
that's
him.
all right.
He's got the one side upturned hat that I've always liked. It's fine. The art looks really good, but like again, nothing like groundbreaking happening. Nothing where you turn a page and you go, "Yeah, oh my god!" Like in Hulk.
It's just the heroes have their plan and everything's going to ruin.
Spider-Man says, "Hey, Lego, my Logan."
Lego, my Logan. Yes, he did. Doofus.
What an asshole. That's a 5.
Yeah, I'd give it a 5 as well.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. That was another week of Sam and Max Hit the Books. We will be back with more comic reviews in the very near future.
Ricky Ticky Taffy.